Bonjour mes amis, hi guys, collection review for Thomas, who works in tech in San Francisco, so usually pretty informal dress code for him. He's got a core of 3 watches that he wears regularly, and he's got a couple of extra watches. So first, let's take a look at his watch box. He's got a Baume et Mercier Classima Executive Chronograph. I've seen some Baume et Mercier before. Used to be people's first decent watch, apparently. So this was a college graduation gift from his parents, and was the watch that he wore the most in his 20s in professional settings. At the time, he knew very little about watches and picked this one because he wanted a white dial and was intrigued by the chronograph. So while he wears it less frequently now, given the other watches in the collection, it has some sentimental value, as it was a gift from his parents, of course. That always has to stay in the collection. Then he's got a Hamilton Khaki Field Automatic. That was his first automatic watch, purchased shortly after college. It was his go-to weekend casual watch that happened to be very versatile. It's the watch he wore the most in his 20s, and well, didn't we just say that? Oh yeah, more for casual settings. And he's got great memories with this watch, like hiking in Sedona, Red Rocks, proposing on a sailboat to his now wife, and exploring the wine regions in France. How lovely is all that? So similar to the Baume et Mercier, it gets less wrist time now, but Thomas still wears it occasionally on weekends for a change of pace. It's always nice. I like those Hamiltons. Now we get to the serious stuff in the watch box. Number 3, we have a Rolex Explorer 1, reference 114270. Thomas says, after getting serious about the hobby about 3 years ago, I set my sights on the Explorer 1. I love that it has a sport watch architecture and heritage, but is under the radar enough to be worn in almost all environments. For my style, I like the 36mm sizing, especially as it's the original size of the watch. After saving for 12 months, I purchased my Explorer to celebrate a new job. It's my daily wearer and I absolutely love it. I am considering trading it in for the new 36mm Explorer 1, the reference 124270, if I get a call from my AD. He's on the wait list. So as I appreciate the upgraded movement, clasp and general robustness, which would provide peace of mind as I wear it 5 days a week. That's interesting. Of course, the Explorer, I love mine. I got the 39mm, which was just discontinued, and looking at the pictures, I think it would still suit really fine on Thomas's wrist. But you know, if you like the 36mm, now is it a good idea to trade it? So that the previous reference, actually the prices are pretty much where the new one is at retail. So is it a good idea to trade it? Honestly, they made quite a lot of the Explorer ones, 36mm, the old ones. Is it? I mean, any Rolex is collectible, but if the new one is the same size, is better technically in every way, personally, you might disagree in the comments. Let us know. I don't see why not. If you don't lose any money, maybe you'll get a bit of money out of the trade if you sell yourself at the right price your current Explorer. And because it's an Explorer is an Explorer, and the current one is so good. I prefer the 39, but they went to 36 now. Why not? If you love it, the loom, the clasp, the bracelet, everything will be better. You'll have the water resistance. Look, if you can trade out of your Explorer and make some money out of it, why not? If you get a call from your AD. Next, we have a Co GShock for the as an exercise watch. And then we have a GLC Reverso Duo Face. That's the reference 270.8.54. That was a gift from his wife for graduating from business school. and in celebration of their 5th wedding anniversary. Wow. Well, how young were you when you got married? That must be your high school sweetheart. Thomas says, I've always wanted a reverse saw, and this dial, particularly the reverse saw printing and the sub-seconds dial, spoke to me. I love that I can easily dress this watch up or down. It looks great with anything from a casual button-down or golf shirt to a suit. Absolutely. Beautiful watch. It's just perfect watch in your collection there. And then Thomas lastly has Omega Seamaster Diver 300 meters. That's the Tokyo Olympic editions. Since both of my other core watches are past their warranties, tells Thomas in his email, I wanted a modern, robust sports watch that I could feel confident taking to the beach or being active with. I kept coming back to the Seamaster 300M Diver for its value, but I couldn't find a colorway I liked. When the Tokyo edition was released, I jumped at it. I have the bracelet, but I have put it on the Omega rubber strap, as I use this watch primarily around water, on hikes, or other outdoor activities. There you go, beautiful watch box, nice. A couple of sentimental pieces, early ones, but they're not bad watches. The Hamilton and the Baume & Mercier, and always nice to wear on a watch that you've worn for so many years. Even if these days you don't wear it so much, it's always nice sometimes to have a bit of a blast from the past. And then the Explorer, the reverse saw, and the Seamaster, that's a perfect trio. You can do everything with that. All right, so let's look into what Thomas is saying. My dilemma is that I feel my collection would benefit most at this point from a gold dress watch, given my current set, but it would be worn infrequently, as I am, as I told you, in a profession of tech, which doesn't require wearing a suit. I could find something on the more affordable end, like a vintage IWC caliber 89 or vintage Omega Constellation, but I know I would seek to upgrade it down the line. Alternatively, I could wait a little longer to get something like the Breguet Classique Ultra Slim or the Vacheron Constantin Patrimony, but I hesitate to spend that much on a dress watch I wouldn't wear frequently. Now let's stop there for a second. You already have the GLC Reversal, which does everything and is so dressy. I don't know why you want to make your life complicated with a vintage one. You never know if they're gonna run well, how long they're gonna run, how long it will cost, how much it will cost you to fix them, because eventually they're gonna have issues. You don't know what has been replaced. Honestly, I think everyone who collects goes through that phase of thinking they need a vintage Omega. And I've done the same. I went to see them, and there's just so many of them. I just couldn't choose, and in the end, I know it would just be to tick a box in the collection, once in a while wear it. But honestly, I don't really love them. I don't really love wearing small old watches. To be honest, if you have that GLC, which has great sentimental value on top of it, I don't see why you would bother with all that. I think you have better ways to spend your money, especially if you're looking at Vacheron Patrimony. That's very expensive. The only thing I would consider down the line is a Patek Calatrava. I love mine, and you don't have to dress up to wear them. They look cool when you're in casual clothes, or if you dress up a little bit, smart casual. But it's not. I don't think it's your priority. All right, next, Thomas tells me that he would love to find a GMT, but the Chronomaster 2 prices are crazy, and he doesn't really like the Cyclops. And he hasn't found a good alternative that are true GMTs. He says the Tudor Black Bay GMT is too thick for his wrist. I have to agree. I have it, and I go back and forth with it. Sometimes I love the look of it, but it is thick and quite heavy. Now, as for do you need a true GMT or not, if you travel a lot, a true GMT is really a traveler's GMT, because you can move the hour hand independently from the rest. And when you travel through time zones, if you go a lot to the East Coast, and these days there's not much travel abroad anyway, that's good. But otherwise, the other GMT system like the ETA GMTs, where you can independently change just the GMT hand, to be honest, it's almost more useful on a daily basis when you don't travel, which is most of the time, at least for me. Depends on your job, but I don't think your job calls for that much travel. So yeah, true GMT is not a must if you find something great, but it's true that they tend to be the better watches. The Rolex, the Tudor, and Grand Seiko also makes one. Now, as a travel watch, you say, oh, by the way, before I go on, of course, you could look into the Patek Calatrava 5134, but you're not going to travel with a watch like that. It's just so fragile, and it's manual wind. I have mine, I love it, but I wear it at the office, and I use it as a two-time zone, not really like a travel watch. So anyway, back to the email. As a travel watch, I'd like a GMT to be sufficiently waterproof to swim in, but also versatile enough that I could wear it for most vacation occasions, including going out to nicer dinners. Sometimes I go on holiday with a bit of a beater watch, and then I miss having a nice watch at dinner with the wife there. Nice candle dinner. Kids maybe are asleep with the babysitter. Yeah. And next on the email, other watches on the horizon are the GLC Master Control Calendar Chronograph, the Grand Seiko SBGY 007, the Rolex Submariner 14060M. Thomas prefers the vintage proportions to the current subs. And of course the Moonwatch Sapphire Sandwich. Thomas says, I would appreciate your advice on what to do next, and potentially some other options that I haven't considered yet. Very interesting, a world of possibilities, of course. I think, first things first, if you do get the new Rolex Explorer, well, that's a watch you can wear all the time, you can travel with, and you always have a great watch. You'll feel like James Bond with it. I think that's very cool. You can also travel with your Seamaster, of course. I think the GMT obsession is shared by everyone in the hobby. I keep on looking at them, thinking vintage or modern. Should I pay the premium? Get done with it. It's kind of difficult. I think in your case, you mentioned the Rolex Submariner 14060M. If you like the 5-digit watches, why not go for the black GMT? So that would be the reference 16710. If you get one from the mid 2000s, one of the later references, it will be in very good nick. You could probably find one which is still waterproof. Make sure it is checked. Make sure there's no, as our friend Johnny Guitar was telling us when we were talking about GMTs, just look at the back, make sure there's no pitting in the case that would compromise the water resistance. And get one in great condition. It would be a beautiful addition to your collection. You can always pop the bezel and put a cork bezel in it, or just go for the cork as well. 16710 is the latest references of the 5-digit GMTs. I really love them. I really came around to loving the Coke and the black just as much as the Pepsi. And yeah, as I said, you can always get the other bezels if you want to change the look. So it will kill two birds with one stone. If you like the vintage Submariner, instead go for the GMT Master 2. You would have pretty much everything you wanted. You can travel with it if you have it checked properly. You can still go in the water with it and go swimming. Maybe not diving, but you can go swimming with it, or at least splash in the pool, and you would have something really classy in the evening. As for the other suggestions, Moonwatch, Yeah, but it's quite big, so maybe you would prefer the 40 millimeter cases like the first Omega in Space or the CK2998. There's a lot to choose, or even maybe a reduced, but I don't like it as much as the Moonwatch. I think the Moonwatch Sapphire Sandwich, yeah, that would be nice. Today and last night, and when I played tennis, I was wearing my Moonwatch, and I just love it. It's such a wonderful watch, but it's a manual wind. You don't have, yeah, you have your Baume et Mercier, but if you want something a bit nicer for a chronograph, that could be quite nice. Always a good one to add to a collection. Doesn't never it never hurts. It doesn't break the bank too much either, and it always runs up a nice collection to have a Moonwatch, which is always a cool watch to have. The other ones looking at the GLC Master Control Calendar Chronograph. I've had it on the wrist, and I thought it was wearing really big. The case has sheer flanks, and in the end, if you have a rotation of watches, those calendar watches are annoying because you have to reset everything with the little pushers on the side. How much are you going to use the chronograph? You already have a GLC reversal, and the other one is going to cost you 14, 15 grand. I'm not really convinced by it. The reason, especially, I didn't buy it is because I have my Zenith Chronomaster T. Check out my review of that watch. I talk about it often on the channel. It's 38 millimeters. It's a high beat. You get the same functions, but on top of it, you have the high beat. The chronograph has got a great feel. I think better than the GLC, and you have a display case back. So maybe that's something to consider. Service cost a bit more than a Moonwatch, of course. It's quite a complicated movement, and being high beat also maybe requires a bit more maintenance than a Moonwatch. But do consider it, because at 39 millimeters, there's not many other options. And because I had that, yeah, I never bought I didn't pursue this idea of buying that GLC Master Control, which is good looking watch, but wears big. Now the Grand Seiko SBGY 007 spring drive, very flat there, dress watch. I don't know what you're gonna do with that. I find the GLC reversal cooler. I'm not a big fan of all those dials with the snow, the stars, the mountain, and the garden on the dial. Yeah, it's a nice watch. I don't really see why you like it so much. What it's gonna do for you in the collection and for where you're going. I think the first thing I would add for you would be 16710 Rolex in very good condition. Find something from 2004, 5, 6, 2007 maybe. You might still find. And yeah, I would go for the black, something really classy, or for a Coke. Now prices, yeah, it's gonna go. I mean, a very top condition full set might run you 14,000. The black are not as expensive. And having said that, why not, the ceramic version, the one after? It doesn't cost all that much more, and then you would be absolutely sure that you have a modern watch that you can travel with. Looking at your wrists on the pictures, I feel that you could wear it. If you can wear the Seamaster, I think it would be a great watch. I always love to check out that watch when I go shopping, and I'm not sure if the vintage 5-digit is that much better. They're both great. It's nice to have the smaller, more vintagey vibe of the 5-digit reference, but it's nice to have the comfort to know that you have something you can go in the water with the ceramic version, the 6-digit. To me, either of these, I think you would be really happy with the watches. Interesting to wonder if what GMT Rolex is going to come up with next. I'm guessing a two-tone yellow gold with the black bezel is the most likely to get the upgrade to the new movement. All right, that's about it. Grand Seiko, GLC, Master Control Calendar, Chronograph, I wouldn't really go there. Moonwatch, always a great idea. I think it would look good in your collection. You would have two Omegas if you did that. And yeah, add a GMT, but they're not they're not cheap, of course. It's gonna run you between 10, 11 to up to 15,000. Just look around, take your time. I think it would be a great watch to buy for a nice occasion, and then you would have a beautiful watch to travel with. All right, Thomas, thank you so much for your email, for sharing with us your very cool collection, which is really cool as it is. Guys, give the video a like if you enjoyed Thomas's collection, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Bye bye.